Well, good morning, everybody. It's 11 o'clock this morning. We have a smaller group today with 20 people on, and what we're going to do is talk about how we can bring clients into you. Now, I do have you all on mute. I apologize for that, but that's because with this many people, it'd just be a cacophony of noise. So what I hope to do is get you in and out very quick, explain the highlights of what we're doing, and how we can move forward to bring clients in the door. If you're looking at our first slide here, you all that have known me for a long time know that I could sell ice boxes to Eskimos. And I talked to an accountant the other night, and he said, you know, the first time I met you 28 years ago, you're up there teaching us how to do sales calls. And I'm thinking, why don't you just go sell the client and bring them back to me? And at the time, I can tell you why I didn't want to do it, why I've been very reluctant for the last 28 years to do it, is because it's heavy lifting. It's hard work. When I was talking to an accountant in Orange County the other night, he said, how come this is so expensive to get somebody to sell for us, and how come it always fails? And I said, well, that's pretty easy, because when you're at home with your babies at 9:30 at night and you've just enjoyed dinner, the salesman is still driving in the rain back from the last appointment, and the guy probably wasn't even there. And so it's a hard job to be a salesperson, and it's totally unpredictable. You never know what you're going to make. But I have that skill, and that is something that I've decided that I want to do, because I believe that the only way we're ever going to get our firms off the ground is if you have a driving crazy sales maniac pushing the events that make all this happen. So you're a good accountant. I know that because I know almost every one of you on this phone call. We've been on in a relationship with one kind or another for decades. And I know you're good accountants, but I know it is so hard for you to go out and explain exactly the value of good numbers to clients in a method and a consistency that'll get them to become clients. So what I'm proposing is a joint venture deal where we can both get what we want. I can get an income and I can solve business owners' problems. You can get clients and you can get a big income. But our first and biggest problem is we've got to come up with an ad budget. You know, there are 4 strategies that we need to grow. One of them is we've got to have some money. If there's no money to spend on advertising, the truth is we're never going to get it off the ground, because it takes consistent dollars. We need new products. We got to develop something that's exciting. When we call on a client and we say we can do tax returns and write up work, we sound like every account they've heard in the last 25 years. They haven't liked the last 3. Why are they going to like you? Nothing changes. So we've got to come up with something totally different. The next thing we need is a production plan. And I can tell you why this is so critical is because once you start getting clients, first one, everybody has a production plan if they pick up 1 new client a quarter, 1 new client a month. But if you start getting 1 a week, you're going to be totally out of control. And then you'll stop doing marketing. And this happens every single day in every accounting office I go to. We get a client, we get busy, we go back to the office, we do the work, we stop producing. And, you know, in years and years in the sales training and sales business, they call that roller coaster production. You get a lot of sales, so you stop prospecting. All of a sudden, you run out of prospects, and sales dry up to 0. Well, the same thing happens in accounting. We get a lot of clients. We start working. As soon as we start working, we stop selling, and then all of a sudden, the new clients dry up to 0. And it's just uncomfortable. You know, it takes a driving force to make it happen, and that means a sales maniac, and I am a sales maniac. But the most important thing I want to talk about is how are we going to get a budget? The truth is we need more money. If I just had $200 a month, I could do 10 hours of telemarketing. I could hire a telemarketer for 10 hours, a work-at-home housewife in Dubuque who would sit on the phone in your community for 10 hours finding potential clients. If I had $4,000 a month, that would be enough money to put you in front of probably 2 good grade A clients for the sale of accounting every month. And that would be consistent. But we need money, and we don't have money. And the thing important, though, to remember here is it a good investment to spend money on advertising, and where does that money come from? And I want you to remember this final point on this slide, the lifetime value of a client. An outsourced client will spend $20,000 to $65,000 a year with you, and from our experience, it looks like they'll last 5 to 7 years on average. and they bring in 4 other revenue streams. That means who are their vendors that we can sell, what other products can we sell them, who can we bring back to our clients as joint revenue streams, and what if we go in there and all we do is we sell something for $295 a month? What's that other revenue stream possible? Here's what we've been doing recently is we put escalators in our contracts that if your profit doubles, is it okay if our fee doubles? And do you know over half the people are taking it? Because they look at me and they go, are you kidding? That's exactly what I want. People on my team that get to enjoy the benefits, and so they're committed. So when we propose it that way, we're not looking like every other accountant. And can we do that? Well, I can tell you that every one of Lynn's clients, and we base a lot of this on what Lynn does, every one of her clients have become millionaires. Every one of them. And, you know, they don't have $1 million in the bank, but their business now, the smallest one has grown to $1.5 million in sales. The biggest one's gone to $5 million. And the reason that's happened is because she just spends 15 minutes a week with them on the phone and says, here's what you did last week that didn't work. Here's what you did last week that did work. And they're using GoToMeeting and looking at financials and P&Ls, etc. What can I do to help you do more of what's working? And that one question gets them so focused on the 80-20 rule without telling them what the 80-20 rule is. It gets them so focused on that one point of value that their business grows. So the lifetime value of a new client is somewhere between $150,000 and $325,000 to you. We cannot afford to not invest to get those people in. And yet we sit there and go, how am I going to get the work done? Where am I going to come up with the money? How am I going to afford to do all this? And I'm getting old. I see retirement coming up in the next 5 or 10 years. And it's obvious that there's not enough dough sitting here to be able to sell this practice for good money. And it's obvious that I'm not going to be able to just walk away with the money I've got left in the bank. You know, especially most of us right now, we're depending on our stock market portfolios and our homes, and a lot of things we've been doing have been cashing out and crashing out. So here's the important thing I wanted to really mention up front. I spent $50,000 a year for 3 years in a row to get Lynn those 104 clients. And there was no way around it. We didn't know what else to do. It just took cash to get it done. But today I'm going to show you how, if we work together on a joint venture, how you're not going to have to spend that money. We're going to get your clients to spend that money. Now, there's 4 ways to get a budget. You could just pay the $4,000, or you could borrow the $4,000, or we could go back to doing QuickBooks seminars and hope we break even on the advertising cost. Now, the downside to QuickBooks seminars, we love doing them, but the downside is when we started these in 1997, there was no one else out there in the market. Even by 2005, there were only 4,000 people in the QB Pro Advisor group. Today, I think the number is somewhere around 25 or 40,000 people out there doing it. So we don't have that. We don't have that uniqueness in the market anymore, and it's just almost difficult to be able to get people to come into the seminars and do it at a profit. The $97 seminar is long gone, and the only people I see even surviving at all are charging $495. And they've gone to 1 and 2 and 3 days to get the $495. But we don't have to work that hard, because we could sell your current clients as a starting point and people that you already know on the full-blown paperless system at $97 a week and allocate 100% of the gross profit, and that means 1/2 the money, to your co-op advertising budget. Now, last week when we did this class, I came out with a plan A and a plan B, and some of you have read our direct mail about this or emails on it, and I said in plan A, I'll bring you a $250,000 firm. You'll write me a $250,000 check 1 year and 1 day from today. Well, I never had the capacity to do more than 2 to 4 of those, and we got 18 orders. So it's impossible for me to take any more of that business. However, plan B is scalable. And plan B means I'm going to put you in appointments in front of prospects in your town that have already been pre-sold. And what that means is they know how to use paperless, and that means they want to talk about outsourcing things the clients don't know about, their customers don't know about, like payroll, SEO stuff, janitorial work, and bookkeeping. And we don't approach the sale as, give me your bookkeeping business. We approach it as, let's standardize your operation. Now let's start looking for things that you shouldn't be involved in. And quite frankly, right now, going paperless is hot. In the 5 to 100 employee business, this is the hottest software out there, the hottest thing people are buying besides paying for SEO people to come in and try to get your website to work. And which, for the most of us, I've discovered over the last 2 years, is a gigantic waste. I spoke last night to an internet consultant, and he said, Casey, if you're not selling diet pills or romance or a get-rich-quick scheme, the internet is a hard row to hoe. And you have to have a website. It should be out there so when people want to look you up, but don't expect the website to bring in a bunch of money. And I'm thinking, why didn't I talk to you 2 years ago? Now, if we go to companies with over 100 employees, they're all paperless. If we go to a company under 5 employees, they can't see the benefit. And there's a reason, and we don't even want to go into it, because the company with under 5 employees doesn't have a bookkeeper anyway, and I don't want that small business that doesn't have a bookkeeper already. I want the client that understands the value, and so here's what we're doing. We start with who we know. And we do a very respectful 13-week campaign where we send out an email offering a new teleconference on a different topic each week on how to run a more successful business by automating. So we just rotate it over 13 weeks. And what happens is I'll make a presentation that'll last about 20 minutes. We spend 7 minutes on here's how to cut cost by standardizing, here's how to increase profit by standardizing, and here's how to get rid of your accounting problems and use good numbers because you're standardized. And then at the end of each of those teleconference calls, I'll simply call the people on the call. I won't wait for them to call me. I'll call every single person on that call and ask them if they would like to make an appointment with us. So we start with the people we know, current clients, past clients, the Chamber of Commerce, anyone you know. Our campaign to begin with is to add dozens and then hundreds of names to the top of the funnel over the year so that we can sell these people by polite and respectful emails. And, of course, we let them opt out anytime they want on attending a demonstration online for the use of paperless. And once we get them paperless, then we've got 3 benefits. They've got lower production cost and back office cost. It's so much easier to sell accounting. And the biggest benefit of all is that instead of paying you 25% of the paperless sale and taking 25% gross profit myself, we're both going to throw our Benjamin into a co-op advertising pot. So here's what it boils down to. We start with people that you know. Maybe you only know 20 people, maybe you know 100, maybe you've got 300 people on your in-house list. And we send those people an email and say, come and buy. Now, how many are going to buy? I don't know, but let's just say 1. Let's just say 1. Here's what happens. We email these people and offer them to come to a teleconference, and we work them through the sales funnel, and I do 100% of this. You're totally out of selling from this day forward, except when you go out to pick up the check. I don't want you involved in selling. After 28 years of experience, let's just skip that part. So here's what happens. When people buy, that gives me $200. One person buys, I've got $200. I can use that $200 to make phone calls. I can use it to send out direct mail. And when I do that, I will get more people to buy so that we're adding even additional people to the database. So it's a self-feeding funnel. And the idea is that we're going to do this until we can get up to that $4,000 a month. If we have $4,000 a month, I can do a lot of work. So here it is in just a different infographic. Every client pays $97 a week. Now, some people, yesterday I was talking to an accountant, he said, oh my God, $97 a week, nobody will pay that. Oh, you are way wrong. We set up this new private label. That means it all gets done under your name. We started this in December, and we have so far sold every single prospect that I've talked to, and I'm talking about SMEs. Now, it's only been 7 of them, but I've sold 7 people in a row at $97 a week, and here's the reason why. Because we're still at $97 a week, so far under the money for a real document management program. I'm talking about a real one that does workflow tracking, knowledge center, knowledge collection and how the business runs, that sort of thing. We're still so far into the money. Microfiche gets $8,000 to $12,000 to set it up, and image oh, I can't even remember the last name of the company. They get between $20,000 and $80,000. Most of these medical programs are at $35,000. We're at $97 a week. And we do actually do more because we name pages. So what we want to do is we want to let clients fund your advertising budget by using document management. The cost of goods in that document management is 50%, and that means that 1/2 gross profit. And our original idea was to split that 100 to you, 100 to me. But what we're going to do is we're going to throw both of our Benjamins, and I know I'm repeating myself, but this is so critical because we're being unique. We're coming up with new ideas. We're going to have a new campaign where I'm going to run the sales. We're going to skip all this other marketing stuff, teaching you how to close, giving you the switchback close, the ducks in a row close. All that's gone. I'm going to do it because it's the only way that we'll ever successfully get to $1 million practice before you retire. And we'll put that money right back into your town. So if you're in Riverside, we're going to work Riverside. And then what this will do is drive more sales. The more sales we have, if we end up with 5 users, we've got a $1,000 budget. If we get 10 users, we got 2,000. We get 20 users, we've got 4,000 a month. That's $50,000 a year. You haven't spent $50,000 a year in advertising in your entire life, but we'll do it for you consistently. So my best guess on the numbers is if we throw 1,000 names in the hopper in 2012, we're going to end up with 100 attendees at our teleconferences. 20 are going to become paperless users, and 5 will end up becoming outsourced clients. And remember, the outsourced client is that's a $20,000 sale annually. Okay, so now here's how I get paid, because I'm making no money on any of this up to this point because I'm throwing all my money back in just like you are. At the back end, when I set up an appointment for you to go out and sell outsourced accounting, I'm hoping that you'll give me 10% of that billing that I help you generate over the next 3 years. And so that's my profit on this deal. I think that's really fair. Nobody's told me that they find that unfair. Now, here's where I'm going to spend your co-op money. I'm going to do postcards, direct mail, telemarketing. I'll rent some email lists, and I'll find other joint venture opportunities for you. I'm going to give you an example of one. I just tripped up with Manal Oliver, and she's on the phone, I see. I just tripped this up yesterday, is why don't we go to the Chamber of Commerce, because all these business groups, all these associations, all these nonprofits, they're all about the money. So why don't we go to these people and say, we'll offer document management to your customers, your members. And every time we do that, there's a $200 a month gross profit. The first year, I'm going to give it to you. Now, that money won't go to your ad budget, but so what? You got clients. Because if some Chamber of Commerce got 1,000 members and 20 of them sign up, that's 20 new opportunities for me to talk to these people, get them on a teleconference, show them how bookkeeping and accounting works on an outsource, and move those people over to you as a client. So I love this idea of joint venture opportunities. Now, I'm not going to depend on you to get these done. All I want you to do is send me the local name. So make a list when we do this. Find who's the chamber, who's the business development group, who is the niche Chamber of Commerce. There's a lot of niche chambers like the Business Development of Vista or the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And send me the name of the person that I need to put on the email list, because I'll get this prospective co-op venture to them, and those that are interested are going to jump all over it. So the rest of the story on where the co-op money goes, you will have access online to how much money we're generating. Now, right now, I don't have a system in place to show you where I spent the money, but 100% of the money is going right back into your market. So if we're doing this in Jacksonville, Florida, 100% of that money is going to go right back into Jacksonville, Florida, to keep pumping names to the top of the funnel so we can keep getting more business into that category. So here's the first time. For the first time, you've got a meaningful ad budget. And so here is what I'm proposing, that we joint venture a project, that you use Plan B. You set yourself up as a private labeled reseller of the document management, that we're using document management as the entry or leader product because it's 10 times easier to sell paperless than it is accounting. But once the client uses paperless, the move from paperless to outsourcing is quick, and I'm talking weeks. So once we get them on paperless, and I'm going to do all this, I'm going to sell the paperless, I'm going back to the guy and say, look how easy it is now to go to accounting. And then I'm going to say, would you like to talk to our local accountant at 3 o'clock tomorrow? And I'm doing that because I want to build up paperless overnight, number one. Number two, I want that 10% on the back end. So if I walk you out there to a client and that client pays you $20,000 a year, I'm going to make $2,000. I'm excited. If I get you 10 of those, this has been a good deal for me. And I think it's a pretty good deal for you. So you can give us a call. You can, if you'd like to know more about this. Now, you've got to get your reservation in because I'm starting the whole country. We did this last week. We had 170 people register. 118 stayed on to the end of the teleconference. We got 36 reservations or orders in. That's why I can't take any more Group A's because we only thought we'd sell 2. We ended up getting 18 orders. And so we jumped to 4, and then we had to close it out. So Group A is done. I cannot get you a $250,000 firm and turn it over to you because I don't have enough capacity or bandwidth to get that done. But I do have enough capacity to scale up on Plan B and get appointments made for you and put you out there. How many you'll get, I don't know. But all I do know this, one client on paperless gives me $200 a month to sell or buy 10 hours of telemarketing. And if I can keep doing that and keep doing that and keep reinvesting the money back into this project, then I know it's going to grow to 20 people in paperless over the year. And I know that that's going to give you a real clean opportunity to pick up 2 to 5 of those as outsourced clients. So today I'm going to send you an order form. If you'd like to start on February 1st, send it back. It won't be an order. It'll just be a reservation form. And then Maggie will call you and set a time when we can get together, talk, answer any real specific questions. Or you can just give her a phone call today at the number on your screen. And that's everything I wanted to talk about today. I don't have any questions here. So here's what you should do next. Wait until I send out the order form to you, and then just send it back. And then Maggie will set up a time, or she'll send you a link where you can schedule your own time right in my schedule. And then we'll visit next week for a few minutes on how we can make this rock and roll. But for years and years, I've been teaching accountants how to sell. And I feel like that old joke, how do you teach a pig to sing? Some things just can't be done. So I'm going to take my skill, and my skill is selling, counting. My skill is being a salesman. Your skill is doing accounting. So we joint venture a deal. We can both get what we want. And this is a process to get the clients to fund all of your advertising. And they're going to like it. You know, we have 100% retention on paperless overnight. Once somebody sends in 100 pieces of paper, they never quit because it works for their business so well. Okay, thank you, everybody. I'll look forward to talking to you soon. We're sending out your order forms. You'll probably have them in the next 20 minutes. Okay, goodbye.